stay with racism concerns in education. Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi is receiving a report on racism and sexual assault allegations at Hoerskool Jan Viljoen this afternoon. He's been meeting with school management. Let's listen in.
That was knocked down by a police car. Sadly, Belena passed on, so we had to go and visit the family and support the school as well. So apologies that I kept waiting here. I want to thank the SGB for agreeing that we collapsed the two meetings. Even though I thought it would be us alone, Steve has invited guests from the media so that we can take you through the report. No, there's nothing wrong, it's fine. We can take you through your own report. That's the report of the SGB. There are two reports that we have commissioned, so we didn't want to delay all of them. There is a report that was commissioned by the SGB immediately when the incident occurred. We gave the school the go-ahead to conduct that interview. I received the report almost 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks or so. It has been extremely difficult to slot a session to come and get this report officially, but I want to thank the team that compiled the report. We are still waiting for another report from the South African Human Rights Commission, which is the second report. And then we'll subject these two reports to our internal processes. That's why the Chief Director responsible for legal is here. When we receive those two reports, then we'll outline what will be the way forward. So I want to thank the team that compiled the report. It's a one-person team, if I read the report rightly, correctly.
There are about 4.
Oh, there are 4. Okay. So I'll ask them to come forward because they have to take us through the report. The reason we have requested to meet with you as SMT, you would recall that when I arrived here, I met with the principal, I met with the SMT, I met with students, I met with parents. So I'm going to follow the same process. The only component that is missing will be learners, unless those that are in the SGB are here as well, I'm not sure. I doubt they were invited. So we will share the report with the learners as well, we'll make an arrangement, because it's their report as well. And then we'll then share it with the parents immediately after this. I want to emphasize this point. This is work in progress. It's work in progress. It's a healing process. And it's a very important process that assists us to identify if there are loopholes or gaps that need to be closed. So all these reports will go to the Chief Director Legal Team, and then we'll formulate a final report that will assist us as a department to have all issues that need to be attended to. So I'll invite the team, if it's here, just to take us through the summary of the report. If you can, they'll take us through the summary of their findings, and then I'll then open up for both the SGB and SMT. If there are areas that they want clarity, and then I'll ask the investigating team to clarify those points, and then we'll go to the parents' meeting. Members of the media, you will get the opportunity after the parents' meeting if you want to raise questions or whatever point that you want to raise. So can I invite the team to take us through the summary, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Come back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. MEC. I am Luke Enslen and I represent Specialized Security Services. the organization that did the investigation. Obviously, this investigation was done by quite a few investigators. You'll see the investigators at the back there, and we were mandated to do this investigation. The MEC's already mentioned that this was a very sensitive matter, and the investigation was also done with that in mind. Recommendations have been made in this investigation. As the MEC has said, this report will be read with other reports, and obviously a final report will then be drawn up, and with the legal departments and the legal people of the Department of Education, a final report will then be compiled, and that report will obviously take this school and other schools further. On the sensitivity of this investigation, it is very important to mention that with the investigation and during the investigation, it was discovered that more learners and other people, including outside parties, were involved in what happened in the school. The recommendations we made in this report addresses what should happen in future, and obviously it is not cast in stone because it will be decided by the Department of Education how they're going to handle this matter going forward. I cannot go through the whole report, that's going to take too long, and discuss individual learners and other people that were questioned and that submitted statements to the investigation team. But what I'll do is to summarize, which I already have done, and mention some of the recommendations that were made. I need to tell you that everybody that was involved in the investigation has years of investigative experience, and they know how to do investigations, how to read people's body language, and obviously how to take down statements. I just want to get to the recommendations that were made and some of the conclusions. It was discovered that things were not correct at the school. It was furthermore determined that other learners not identified by the school management team and the SGB were also involved in the initial fighting and escalating of the violence. It was also discovered and established that third parties not involved with the school were involved. It is suggested by us that the disciplinary processes against identified learners and newly identified learners proceed. We also made a suggestion that the school needs to establish a grievance committee which in future can handle grievances so that these things do not get out of hand. And we further suggested that diversity training and diversity programs are implemented at the school for different learners and other people to understand one another better, and do not necessitate things to end in clashing and fighting. That is in short what we have found. The report has been handed over, and as I said earlier, as the MEC said, this report will form part of the final report. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. That's the summary of the report. It's quite a long report. Unfortunately, there's names of people, so we can't just make it available. That's the summary, and on the basis of the summary, I'm opening it up to the SGB and SMT members. If there are areas that you want them to be clarified, or there are areas where you feel that you need additional information, this is your time. We can take your views. SGB? Are you fine, SGB? You're fine. SGB, you're fine. Accepted. Thank you. SGB is fine. They've accepted the recommendations. Can I take the SMT? Members of the SMT? Deputy Principal, I'll start with you. One. Are there any other hands? I think if you scream, I can hear you. I suspect so. Do you want the mic?
I don't need a mic.
Okay.
Thank you very much. In the matter of Mrs. Viljoen, I want to need more clarification about that. Because on national TV, he was identified as somebody, and I want to know from the committee what was the outcome. I don't know if that this is the place for that is with the EC, but I think as a SMT, by day-to-day organizing of the school, I need a disciplinary person on the school grounds. And I want to know if we have to start looking for somebody else, or what is going to happen to the school. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I doubt it was part of this report. I think it can be part of our processes of the SGB, because an SGB employee, isn't it? If I'm not wrong.
So, sorry, that's correct.
Yes, Principal.
It was the second report.
Okay.
It was also forwarded to you from the same company.
I didn't study that one. It's fine. I'll go through it. Don't worry. I still have 30 minutes before the parents' meeting, so we can go through it. Okay, I'm told there is a report about it, so I'll go through that report. Mr. Gauteng, you are aware of the report? The second report? Okay, sure. Okay. SMT, I suspect besides this point, you are all fine now. Okay. We've got this report now. We're taking it over now as the department. We'll hand it over to our legal team. We'll wait for the report from the Human Rights Commission, and on the basis of the two reports, we'll develop a recommendation. We'll develop recommendations that will assist us to finally close this chapter and know what's going to happen. Can I leave it at this level now, so that we can then prepare to go and meet with parents? And you are all invited in that meeting with parents. I'm told it's a small room with 80 chairs. We'll allow parents to be the first one to be seated, and we can stand and join them later if you want to. But you are all allowed to join us. Because we've got this 30 minutes gap, I'll allow the team that was doing investigation just to do Q&A with the media quickly, if you are fine. We'll do Q&A with the media because we still have time, and then we'll move later to the venue where you're going to meet parents. Members of the media, we are in your capable hands. Can you come quickly? Oh, I caught your card. Okay. Oh, you want me? No, you'll get me. Don't worry. You'll get me. Okay, I caught you off guard. Let's migrate then to the parents' meeting, all of us, and then we'll take it from there, and then we'll then respond to all the issues at that point. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You want to do it now?
All right, so that's Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi, and he's in Randfontein at the Hoerskool Jan Viljoen. And of course, that relates to incidents in February. They were running battles, and it seemed along racial lines between black and white kids. There's been a full investigation. And just a summary, you know, things were not correct at the school. I mean, that's quite a telling top line, isn't it? That there were a number of learners involved. Disciplinary action needs to be taken against certain learners. They need to implement diversity training. And it's an interesting thing coming on a day like today. We'll be looking at racism at Stellenbosch University, those allegations, those charges laid now of racism, malicious damage to property and housebreaking by that white, about that white student who broke into that black student's room and proceeded to urinate on his possessions. Also, we've just heard a report from Monique Mortlock, allegations about a school in Cape Town as well. And we are nearly 3 decades into our democracy, but clearly there's stuff that needs to change, there's stuff that needs to be unpacked, because even with the new generation of kids, we're seeing problems around racism, and it needs to be properly ventilated, properly understood, and dealt with head on. We've got plenty more still to come, so do stay with us here on Today.